ailments and diseases is out there, in nature. Knowing how to combine natural plants and compounds with the help of technology and biomedical, chemical, and computer knowledge is the key to any laboratory committed to health. Today, one of the most important challenges of medicine and science is cancer research. Cancer is estimated to be the leading cause of death worldwide, and its impact is expected to increase by 21.6 million new cases each year by 2030. Catalysis laboratories have been working for more than 11 years on a product focused on improving the lives of cancer patients, Ocoxin Oral Solution. It is a nutritional supplement that is specifically formulated for people undergoing aggressive therapies. It provides essential nutrients that these types of patients are deficient in due to poor nutrition triggered by treatments. There are studies published in prestigious medical publications that link Ocoxin Oral Solution with its effects on different types of cancer. These publications are the result of years of studies by research teams from around the world. In Spain, scientists of recognized prestige have wanted to join the research on the effects of Ocoxin Oral Solution. The Cancer Research Center in Salamanca was one of the first to study the effects of Ocoxin. There, Dr. Atanasio Pandiela and his team from the Department of Molecular and Cellular Biology of Cancer have carried out research with Ocoxin in 4 different fields.
In a subtype of breast cancer called HER2 positive, it's a cancer that affects 1 in 5 women. We have also studied the anti-tumor effect of Ocoxin, OOS, in acute myeloblastic leukemia, which is a cancer of the blood. In liver cancer, hepatocellular, and in the last study we did was in lung carcinoma. Within lung cancer, there are different types, and we have focused on one, in which we have observed that Ocoxin, OOS, is most effective. We've analyzed different types, and although it was somewhat defective in other types, we have managed to extract one type of tumor in which it was most effective. And this type of tumor is not one of the most abundant in lung cancer, but it is one of the most resistant and aggressive. It is called microcytic or small cell lung cancer. We see that in both breast cancer and lung cancer, Ocoxin, OOS, prevents tumor cells from dividing, causing a stop in the cell cycle. This is because there is a protein that acts like a guard, which affects whether the cells divide or not. What Ocoxin does is increase the strength of this guard so the cells do not divide. This also happens in acute myeloblastic leukemia, and therefore we think Ocoxin regulates the growth of tumors by stopping them, i.e. by not allowing them to grow.
At the University of the Basque Country Department of Cell Biology, there is a group of scientists who have more than 20 years of experience in hepatic metastasis research, which is why Catalysis Laboratories gave them Ocoxin Oral Solution with the aim of studying its impact on 2 types of tumors that usually lead to liver metastases, pancreatic cancer and colorectal cancer.
We cultivated colorectal cancer cells in the presence of Ocoxin, OOS, and saw that they migrate and proliferate less. Therefore, the product has an anti-tumor effect per se. As we saw that in this type of metastasis, the results were positive, we have been looking for other models in which we could find benefits of Ocoxin Oral Solution, OOS, to treat other types of high-incidence tumors or tumors for which there are few treatments.
After this first study, in which the anti-tumor effect of Ocoxin was verified, Joana Marquez and her team began a new study on the impact of the product in the presence of one of the most commonly used drugs to treat metastatic colon cancer, irinotecan.
This study was conducted in an in vivo model with mice. The mice were inoculated with tumor cells and developed a tumor that led to liver metastasis. There were 3 groups: a control group, a group of mice treated with Ocoxin oral solution, OOS, and another group of mice treated only with irinotecan. We saw the side effects caused by irinotecan and the tumor itself, which in animals can be measured by the condition of their fur, whether it is bristly. It can also be measured in their tendency to scratch or bite themselves. There are several scales that measure the damage suffered by the animal. And according to that scale, animals with the inoculated tumor that were treated with Ocoxin oral solution, OOS, as well as irinotecan, were much better than those that had been only treated with irinotecan. That is to say, it was improving their state of health.
The first results on the effects of Ocoxin on liver tumors had put them on the trail of new research models, this time focused on pancreatic cancer. The first trials were with mouse pancreatic cancer cells, and then the tests were repeated with human cells.
In the first study we published, which my colleague mentioned, we observed that the tumor was shrinking, so the Ocoxin oral solution, OOS, had an anti-tumor effect per se. But we also observed that the influence of the cells that surround the tumor, which are the cells that collaborate with it, was reduced, meaning that the external collaboration of non-tumor cells was reduced. This led us to look for other models where the role of the cells that accompany the tumor during the progress of the disease was very relevant. And the effect we saw was frankly positive. The cells died with the Ocoxin OOS treatment. There was a very high percentage of cells suffering from apoptosis, which is a process of cell death by the product. In addition, along with in vivo trials, we saw that the area occupied by the tumor in the pancreas was also reduced with the OOS treatment. Therefore, these studies pushed us to continue looking into the mechanisms behind this.
The research team at the University of the Basque Country realized that they had before them a product that acted against chemoresistance. This effect occurs when the non-tumor cells that surround the cancer, called stromal, collaborate in the development of the disease, decreasing the effect of the drugs used in the clinic.
We used a panel of 6 types of pancreatic cancer cells. Normally you can stick to 1 or 2, but we used 6 lines to cover all the heterogeneity that exists in these types of tumors. We found that the effect was the same. The viability of pancreatic cancer was reduced after treatment with Ocoxin oral solution, OOS, and OOS was also able to reverse the chemoresistant effect exerted by fibroblasts associated with the tumor. Thus, by treating cells with fibroblast media, they were able to survive the chemotherapy. And by applying OOS, we managed to reduce viability again, meaning that in addition to chemotherapy, it had a very positive effect.
After this finding, the research team did not hesitate to start new studies with Ocoxin, this time looking into melanoma.
Our model focuses on studying the pulmonary metastasis of melanoma. In the in vitro tests, we used relatively new cells, only 5 years old, which have the same mutation as 60% of melanoma patients, which is a BRAF gene mutation. In our model, we used these cells in vitro, and we observed that for the time being, Ocoxin, OOS, reduces tumor viability, that is, it is anti-tumor. But we also observed how the chemoresistance exerted by the fibroblast associated with the in vitro tumor is also eliminated after treatment with the oral Ocoxin solution. Specifically, we studied how OOS can also reverse the chemoresistance effect of fibroblasts when melanoma is treated with vemurafenib, the BRAF gene inhibitor, which is one of the most widely used in clinical trials.
Gliomas are especially aggressive. They are tumors that are very resistant to almost any stress you subject them to any chemotherapy or radiotherapy. In fact, today, along with pancreatic cancer, it is one of the most resistant tumors to everything that has been tested, and the field where there has been least progress in the last 10 to 20 years. So, it is the last hurdle, a tumor that is the biggest challenge.
Catalysis Laboratories contacted this team of scientists belonging to the Carlos III Health Institute, who together with the 12 de Octubre Hospital in Madrid, started a research project focused on the effects of O-coxin on brain tumors, specifically on one of the most aggressive, gliomas.
Our first approach was to test the effect of OOS alone, i.e., as a supplement in the diet of animals, in this case, in mice that carried these tumors that had been generated from human cells, patient gliomas. We found mixed results. There were several lines, and in some of them, there was a positive result. A decrease in the speed of growth of the tumor, simply due to the mice being supplemented OOS in their diet. Tumor cells tend to proliferate a lot because they go backwards in their lineage. Instead of being normal standing glials, they go backwards. They de-differentiate and start proliferating. We believe that in the presence of OOS, this process is reversed. The cells differentiate more, and this makes the tumor less aggressive. We are optimistic because we are also seeing an interesting effect that could be related to the activation of the patient's immune system, in this case the mouse, against the tumor cell, and we believe that this could be even more noticeable in the case of human patients.
This is precisely the objective of Catalysis Laboratories, to demonstrate that O-coxin improves the quality of life of patients undergoing aggressive treatments. The study of the combination of O-coxin with irinotecan in metastatic colon cancer was not the only one carried out with these types of chemotherapy drugs.
Right now, we are also testing and seeing very interesting results of synergy or reinforcement for conventional chemotherapy in patients of a drug called temozolomide. We saw a type of synergy and a greater slowing down of tumor growth in mice treated with temozolomide and OOS at the same time.
As we have already seen, at the Cancer Research Center in Salamanca, Atanasio Bandiela's team studied the anti-tumor effects of O-coxin, but they have also tested it with other drugs.
We have carried out the analysis of combinations of OOS with standard of care drugs, which are classic drugs that are used on patients. In some types of pathologies, we have seen that there is an effective increase. For example, in HER2-positive breast cancer. Here we can see the effect of lapatinib, which is a drug used in this pathology. This is important because oncologists always want the drugs they use to favor anti-tumor activity.
Beyond laboratory trials, studies with O-coxin oral solution have reached oncology professionals who treat patients on a daily basis. This is the case of Dr. Adriana Fontevilla from the Genesis Care Medical Center. Her specialty is radiation oncology using external radiation from linear accelerators, and she has treated more than 400 of her patients with O-coxin.
I have done a study in which I compared the quality of life before using the product and 2 months after using it. Some patients are undergoing radiotherapy treatment, some have finished it, some are simply in review. And what did I observe? That the improvement in quality of life exceeded 50%.
Dr. Fondevilla is a reference in carcinoma of the head and neck, pelvis, prostate, palliative patients, and advanced lung carcinomas. Radiotherapy treatment in all these cases is particularly complicated and long, and there are many side effects, and they are significant.
For example, in the head and neck, mucositis, which are sores in the mouth, radiodermatitis, which is a side effect on the skin, skin inflammation, serostomy, dryness in the oral mucus that even prevents patients from even eating. And that is a very important issue because we eat for pleasure, and those patients have to eat to survive. Up to 50% of patients experience an improvement in taste. Why? Because one of the ingredients in OOS is zinc sulfate, which is a trace element that has proven to improve the sense of taste. As well as these side effects, they have asthenia, depression. Many of them want to finish the treatment or not continue with it, or leave before the end of sessions, which usually last 33 days. We have observed improved appetite, improved depression, improved asthenia, and at the level of specific side effects of the irradiated area, in this case head and neck, improved mucositis, on which an article has been published due to the antioxidant effect of this product. Our bodies have an immune system and a redox system, which means reduction and oxidation. Ideally, they should be in balance. Radiotherapy, at a local level, produces an oxidation effect. Why? Because it produces inflammation. But the purpose of the treatment is that very oxidation, since that is what causes cell death. It is indirect cell death. That is to say, I kill the cell directly by damaging its genetic material, but indirectly by the free radicals that are produced in the area due to the great inflammation produced by the treatment. I like this oxidation. I use it. Radiation oncology uses it. But what is not good for the patient is the oxidation of the rest of the body. Through its antioxidant effect, this product allows or helps your redox system to stay in balance.
The question now is whether the patients supplemented with Ocoxin perceive all the effects that the product has on their bodies.
On the third day, you can see whether it has had any effect. Patients notice it on the third day of treatment. It's very odd, but that's the way it is.
Scientists and doctors are demonstrating how Ocoxin works. Their studies and publications are essential for Catalysis laboratories, which continue to investigate the uses and mechanisms of their product.
It is a success because we use natural products. We use products with no known adverse effects. And this is one of the added values of this product that, in my opinion, justifies the research we have been carrying out with them on its anti-tumor properties.
We have done endless tests, endless trials, repetitions, different alternatives, and the conclusions that have been published are backed by the experimentation that we have developed.
I believe that the scientific basis we are building in these studies is frankly positive, and I do not know if there are precedents.
Improving the quality of life of people undergoing aggressive treatment and collaborating with the medical and scientific community to find a new horizon in the challenges of human health is the commitment of Catalysis Laboratories.
These treatments are so extremely harsh that having a helpful treatment for the patient makes us very happy. Being able to tell your patient that the treatment is difficult, that the road ahead is long, but that this is going to help them, frankly helps us a lot. And I know that other colleagues have tried it and are very happy.
For a cancer patient, prolonging their life by 10 days, by slowing down their tumor, or improving the side effects of chemotherapy is very significant. Working with this compound that can give so much is very exciting.
We are very excited about the element that could be affecting the patient's immune system because we believe that this can give a more independent response to each tumor subtype, because every patient has a different glioma than the next.
To be honest, it has been a pleasant surprise. It's been a product that initially, being a natural compound, can have some benefits. But what has surprised me most about OOS is its effect of reversing chemoresistance.
Fragile, mysterious, indomitable, and unfathomable. Just like the human condition, nature may be hiding many of the answers science is looking for.